Welcome to the ShadowTale Project. Tonight's story comes from a road where silence can learn the shape of a voice. The Girl at Mile 42. Some roads remember who never came home. There is an old highway in northern Ontario where the mile markers do not always agree with the maps. On clear nights, Mile 42 is only a bend in the road between black spruce and frozen rock. There is no gas station there, no mailbox, no house lights, only a narrow shoulder, a rusted guardrail, and a blue sign worn pale by years of snow. But after midnight, when the storm lowers over the trees, the highway changes. Drivers say the road grows longer. The headlights seem weaker. The same white ditch appears again and again, as if the car is circling something too large to see. And then the girl appears beside the sign. Not walking, not waving, only standing there in a thin gray coat, her hair dark with snow, her face turned slightly away from the road. Nobody agrees on what she looks like. Some remember a child. Some remember a teenager. Some remember only the feeling that she had been waiting for them specifically. I first heard the story from a mechanic who refused to work after sundown. He kept a small radio on the shelf above his tools, always tuned to static. When I asked why, he said static was safer than silence on that highway. He told me that people had been disappearing near Mile 42 since the late 80s. Not often enough for newspapers to care. Not neatly enough for police to connect. The only thing the story shared was a sound. Someone at home would receive a call hours later. The line would hiss with wind. Then the missing person's voice would say one ordinary sentence. A sentence they had said that night, alone in the car. After that, the line went dead. The mechanic said the road did not kill people the way a person kills. It listened first. Then it used what it learned to open doors. I thought he was trying to scare me. 2 nights later, the storm came in fast. I was driving south after a late delivery, following the dull red glow of my own taillights reflected in the snowbanks. The radio had died 30 kilometers back. My phone had no signal. The road was empty in both directions. I had been talking to myself to stay awake. Small things. The kind of words a tired man drops into the dark because silence begins to feel like another passenger. Then my headlights caught the sign. Mile 42. The girl stood beside it. Snow gathered on her shoulders. Her hands hung at her sides. She did not ask for help. She did not look cold. She did not move at all. I kept driving. For a few seconds, I felt the relief of having made the sensible choice. Then the blue sign appeared again. Mile 42. This time, she stood closer to the road. I checked the mirror. Behind me, the highway had vanished into white. Ahead of me, there was only the same bend, the same trees, the same narrow shoulder. I drove through it again. The third time, the sign was leaning toward the ditch, and the girl was gone. In her place, something lay in the snow. A small brass house key. I stopped because I recognized it. Not the key itself. The key ring. A cracked black tag from a motel outside Sudbury, the kind I had used for years because it was too ugly to lose. My own key ring was no longer in the ignition. The engine was still running. The headlights were still burning. But the key was lying 30 feet ahead of me in the snow, under the blue sign at mile 42. I do not remember opening the door. I remember the cold entering the car, as if it had been waiting outside with its hand on the handle. The road made no sound, no wind, no engine, no ticking hazard lights, only my own voice, coming faintly from the dead radio. It was not speaking to me. It was repeating me. Every sentence I had muttered while driving came back through the speakers, flat and distant. The weather is getting worse. Stay awake. Just get home. Then came a sentence I had not said yet. I should not have stopped. The radio went silent. When I looked back at the sign, the girl was there again, behind it now, half hidden by the snow, watching from the place where the ditch dropped away into darkness. That was when I understood the worst part of the legend. She was not trying to get into the car. She was making sure I got out. I grabbed the brass key from the snow and drove without looking back. The road did not end for almost 20 minutes. Mile markers passed in the wrong order. 39, 41, 38, 42. Then the trees broke open, and I saw the old foundation. Only the chimney remained, black against the snow. The yellow house that had once stood there burned down before I was born. The newspaper called it a fire. The old women at the diner called it the first door. When I reached town the next morning, I asked about the girl. No one wanted to say her name. The waitress finally slid a coffee toward me and told me every missing person leaves something at mile 42. Something small. Something familiar. Something that makes the next driver stop. I put the key on the counter. The waitress stepped back from it. That was when I saw the black motel tag clearly. It no longer had my room number. It had my mother's address. I drove home before dark. The apartment door was unlocked. Inside, every mirror in the hallway was fogged white, though the heater had been off all day. On the answering machine, the red light blinked. One message. At first, there was only static. Then my mother's voice came through, thin and confused. Someone had stood outside her house in the snow before dawn. She said it sounded like me. She said it knew where the spare key was hidden. Behind her voice, under the static, I heard a car idling. Then a faint click, like hazard lights on an empty road. The message ended with my own voice. Not the voice I use with other people. The voice I use when I am alone and afraid. It whispered the sentence from the radio. I should not have stopped. I have not driven that highway since. But sometimes, when snow falls after midnight, my phone rings once and stops. No number. No voicemail. Only the sense that somewhere far north of the city, a blue sign is shining in the dark. And something beside it has learned one more voice. So if you ever find yourself alone on a winter road and mile 42 appears twice, do not slow down. Do not look for what was dropped in the snow. Do not speak to keep yourself awake. Some roads do not remember places. They remember voices. Thanks for listening. For more stories, subscribe to the ShadowTale Project.